Now, there is structure in service and there is flow. If you don't have a good structure, it will be difficult to put in the flow. Now, we all know the story about the multiplication of the bread. Now, in Mark 6, when Jesus was multiplying the bread, there was structure and there was flow. The structure was when Jesus said, make the people sit in hundreds, make the people sit in 50s. He was trying to put structure, which means ensure that there is a traffic system that parks people's cars. Ensure there are securities that watch over the cars. Ensure there are protocols that provide order. Ensure there are ushers that usher people to sit appropriately. Ensure that, do you understand what I'm talking about? There are people in the childcare system who ensure the kids are not shouting, but they are properly engaged. Ensure this, ensure that. That is the structure, the business of service. Then there is the life of service, which was what Jesus did. He lifted up the bread, blessed the bread. The disciples began to break the bread and the bread started multiplying. But if there was no structure and there was no proper administration, the bread that Jesus was breaking here, which was the life of service, will not flow to everybody and they will not be able to recoup what was left at the end of the day. So they are equally important. The altar and the table. Now you will see this all through scriptures. Different people in offering worship or service unto God, they needed to put in place the table and then so that the altar can flow through it appropriately. And you know, both need to be consecrated unto the Lord. You know something about the two of them, you must be found faithful in either of them. That's why the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 4:2, it is required of stewards that a man be found faithful. Whether you are at the altar or you are at the table, be found faithful. When Elijah was going to call down fire, he operated the two. The Bible says he came to that place in 1 Kings and he first of all set the altar in place. He first of all arranged, even though the Bible was using the word altar, but that was the business first of all of service. He was arranging the woods according to the 12 tribes of Israel. He poured water, he made the dug a trench. All that was the presentation of that service. Then when he now came here, he had a life with God. He had a relationship with God. He had a secret place, an altar with God. So he could call upon God and call down fire. That was the flow that came upon that structure. Both of them are important. So sometimes, some of us are not coming to stand behind the pulpit. But what you are doing is equally important. Because if you are not standing in that place, it will be difficult for pastor to dispense grace here and it gets to everybody. So I don't want you to belittle what you are doing, because what you are doing is actually advancing the kingdom. It's glorifying the Lord. But you know, for you to be able to do a proper structure and business of service, your life must be in place. That's what the Bible says in 2 Timothy 2. It says in a great house there are many vessels. Vessels of gold, vessels of silver, vessels of, wood, hay, stubble. It says, but if any man wants to, serve God, he must purge himself, so that his vessel is meet for the master's use. It can be used for special purposes. So your vessel, first of all, your life must be in place. Your life must be sanctified, so that whatever you want to offer unto God is passing through a channel that is purified and that is clean.